This season of Nerdpool is powered by WiSP, with music from RedCocoa. Check the description for more information. You know her as the queen of the PlayStation 2, a lover of Aston Villa, The Simpsons and Futurama, and a graphic design extraordinaire with a penchant for chaos and a tightly knit community that recently surpassed 1,500 subscribers. It's PlayStation Pantheress. So lovely to have you here. Thank you so much for coming on.
I'm so glad to be here, and honestly, I did not expect that introduction. I don't think I deserve it, but I mean, well, I'm going to take it. Why not? You got to take it, haven't you?
No, I mean, like, at the end of the day, everyone I have on here, I just want to hype you all up. I think content creation is just amazing. So anyone who does it, I think, deserves the opportunity to really get it platformed.
Says a fellow content creator himself, obviously.
Oh yeah, no, there's no bias here at all.
No.
Totally not. But yeah, no, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
As usual, I want to start with a very simple question just to lead people in. And normally the people that I have on this, they're all like World of Warcraft creators usually. So I have to kind of dance around that and make sure that it's not asking straight about World of Warcraft. But with you, I can just lead with, what is your favorite game?
It is not World of Warcraft. I've never played it, but I'm sure I will have to one day because I'm sure someone's going to get me to play it, so that's absolutely fine. Yeah, without a doubt, 100% it's Elder Scrolls Oblivion, the 2006 version, remake. Either way, it's a brilliant game. Like, I cannot fault it. It has faults. They're all brilliant. I can't tell you enough how much I love this game. I'm obsessed with it. It's stuck with me ever since I had it in 2006, or 2008 actually, because it came on PS3. I wasn't a PC user yet at this point. Beats Skyrim any day, but I do love Skyrim as well.
That was going to be my next question, is what do you think of Skyrim?
Come on, we all love dragons. Who does not love a bit some flying dragons, like in the sky, you know, like Alduin and talking gibberish and whatever else, chants and whatever else they're doing. The thing is, I don't know, there's just such a charm about Oblivion. There's also some things that happened in Skyrim that are a bit of a shame. I don't blame Bethesda for doing it, but it's just a bit of a shame. Like, there's things that you can do in Oblivion that you just can't in Skyrim. You can talk to absolutely every single NPC, and even if they just have one word to say, it's just a nice feeling of, I want to go up to you and I want to see what you're about. And if you have to make that up in your own like RPG life, you're going to make it up. Some of the characters in Skyrim, they just don't, there's nothing. That is a shame for me. I think it downplays the RPG side of things. And also, because all the climate's in Oblivion, I also think the story is better in Oblivion. I really advise anyone who likes Skyrim to play that game. And if they see the 2006 version, they're like, whoa, this is too crazy for me with these graphics, then the remaster should be hopefully getting cheaper soon. I'm not too sure.
Honestly, I'm really glad you said that. And I can vouch for that, because I was someone who discovered the Elder Scrolls through Skyrim. I didn't approach Oblivion until several years later. I just went into my local CX and picked it up, and it blew my mind just how much more there was in Oblivion compared to I mean, modded Skyrim is obviously a different beast entirely, but as a base game, Oblivion, I think it just blows the water, or blow Skyrim out of the water.
Yeah, just the story, everything. Like, Skyrim does have a good story, but I don't know, I just think there's just so much uniqueness to Oblivion that it's just, it can't be compared. But I am excited for Elder Scrolls 6, but I have been since 2018 when they announced it, and that is a very long time ago. So I've had to just keep it in the back of my mind.
Yeah, I think I did actually see something about that the amount of time that's passed between now and the announcement for Elder Scrolls 6 is the same amount of time that passed between Skyrim and the announcement for Elder Scrolls 6, which is just mental. Off the back of that as well, I just wanted to ask, have you played any of the other Elder Scrolls games, like Elder Scrolls Online, Morrowind, the older ones even?
Yeah, so that's such a good question. So obviously, you know, I've played Skyrim and absolutely like finished the heck out of it. I have all of the other games that I downloaded this year, but because of having the channel, I thought, I really need to capitalize on this. I need to make sure that the first time I ever play these games is on my channel. But of course, the other games from Morrowind and Daggerfall, they were all on the PC PC. I've got them on my PC. I would have to have kind of a special because I focus on PlayStation, and that would be a lot. I've been thinking about doing it for Twitch, which I do not have like an active Twitch account at the moment. But yeah, so it's just something to consider. Honestly, tonight I could just jump in and really want to play Morrowind. I really, really want to. But I think it's just about, at this point, people have known that Elder Scrolls is an amazing franchise in my mind. But yeah, I only got to play the console versions, unfortunately. I'll have to just see if I'm going to do it live for everyone to watch, or if I just take time to just play it myself. But I definitely want to, 100%.
I feel that in my heart when you say like you have to sort of experience it for the first time on the channel, because the amount of games that I've put off over the years, just being like, I really want to play this, but I also kind of want to capture it live, or like, yeah, it's a struggle.
It is. And sometimes as well, even if no one's going to watch it for whatever reason, at this point, it's like you just want to record it for your own sake to see in the future, 10 years time, what did I think of this game then? You know? So I think once you start recording and you actually capture that, you get a bit like, it feels weird playing a new game without capturing that. Because that's a big thing on my channel, right? Like it's first time plays, blind plays, if you will. There's a lot of that. And now it just makes me, every time I play a new game, it makes me want to play that game live.
That's got to be really hard for you as well, though, because I imagine a lot of the games that you're like looking at for your channel, they're obviously the classics that must have been on your mind. If you've not already played them, they will have been on your mind to play for years and years and years. So I feel like fighting that urge must be so difficult if you want to like plan it and make sure it hits at the right time, because obviously then you've got your community saying, oh, we want Need for Speed or Star Wars Battlefront, etc.
So when I started the channel, I looked at it like I want to play the games that I played when I was younger to show everyone that I'm legit. I really were playing these games all the way back in the day. I'm not just a new creator thinking, you know what, I'm gonna come in and it's gonna be different because I'm a girl, because obviously as a woman it's very, very different in terms of the gaming space, and especially if you're a millennial, because there's not many. But the thing was, I really did play games back then, so I thought, this is like this is my niche. This is the USP. This is like, I actually did play games back then. I didn't get into it like 4 years ago during COVID, or however long ago it was. It wasn't something that I was just like, oh, I'm going to do this because, no, there's not many people in the industry doing this and it's going to get me views. I actually decided to do this because I was like, right, I actually was playing games when I was 4 years old, 5 years old, but I couldn't talk about it as a girl, so I kept it quiet because people would have thought it was weird. And so I obviously made the channel and thought I'm going to play those games that I did play to show how much I love these games. And then that slowly went out the window because when it just went out the window and I'm glad that it did, because I think with life, you've got to have a base plan and then you've got to adapt, because if you just keep going to the plan that you want to go, when you're trying to focus on getting good core subscribers, then it's not going to work. You need to do what makes you happy, but also what's going to give to them as well. So that, yeah, exactly. Like Star Wars Battlefront, I never played it in my life. Need for Speed, Most Wanted, never played in my life. And both of those games, funny enough, were actually games recommended when I put out there, hey, what is a game that you want to recommend to me? And yeah, the core subscribers at the beginning, they was like, okay, I want this one, I want this one, I want this one. And I went out and got those games. So some of the games that I wanted to play all the way back, I still haven't. I love GTA. I have not touched this franchise yet, but I will be soon. So that's something. Yeah, you've just got to go with what works and have a balance, I think. That
actually also perfectly leads me up to one of the questions that I had. You've built up this channel over the past year, but a bit over a year now, but basically 2025, 2026. I think it's generally accepted by a lot of people that YouTube is becoming harder and harder of a platform to get started on and to find growth, but you've managed to do it. And in doing that, what are some of the lessons that you've kind of had to learn, and what are some of the surprises that you've encountered for doing that?
I think, you know what, I've been thinking about this, and there's so many things I could say. In terms of surprises, there hasn't really been any surprises. Not really. The biggest surprise was really the very first video getting as many views as it did. not because I didn't think that it was worth it, but I just didn't think YouTube would put it out to that many subscribers. You once told me yourself, you said, YouTube is a 50-50 game. YouTube needs to work with you and you've got to put the work in as well. So it's so true. But in terms of like the things that normally people wouldn't expect, like the negativity and stuff, no, I expected that. I actually got that quite late, which I'm grateful for. And sometimes it will spring up on you and you're like, whoa, hold on, where's this come from? But I think you've always got to be prepared for everything when you're starting the channel. And then in terms of, you know, YouTube being hard, in 2025, 26 in the modern day, I think it's the rise of AI and things like that, and everyone wanting to be content creators. That doesn't help. There's so many people trying to create channels, and you can buy subs now, which is a crazy thing. But also just don't do any of that, because there's so many creators who I talk to and they literally just tell me, I'm doing this week, and they crack on and then they get the results. And then there's other creators who come to me and they say, oh, what are your secrets? And I tell them and they're like, yeah, I can't bother to do that. And I'm like, that is your answer. That is 100% your answer. That is why you can't. The biggest thing I will say is when it comes to, because YouTube are doing their own thing. Don't hate on YouTube's algorithm. I've definitely posted videos and I thought it was going to do so well, and I've been disheartened because I thought following a trend, this will do well, following like the trends of my channel, and then it didn't. And I was like, what? Trying to wrap my head around it. And it's just like, you've just got to move on. You just got to carry on, and you've got to take your own criticism, not just everyone else's. And you've got to be able to be like, this is amazing that I've made this, and like, you know, be proud, but also look at other things and be like, what I've made here is absolutely dog doo-doo. Like this is not good. And then just being able to recognize that and then change it next time. But so many people just keep going around the same track and then nothing's changing. I've definitely seen creators make something really, really good and they didn't get the response, and that is a shame. But then they have made something exactly in the same kind of style with the same effort, and that did. So sometimes it is just what people are searching for. But yeah, I think it's really just some people just need to wake up and smell the coffee and realize that YouTube isn't this easy thing that you can just do. If you want to do it, really want to do it, then just do it and put the time in, put the effort in, work hard. That's what I think. That's the biggest thing. And I think the biggest thing as well for my channel as well, I always went into it knowing my priority. And even from everything I say, I will speak for 4 hours on a live stream and I'll get really tired and I won't know what I'm talking about, but it doesn't matter because I'm not chatting BS. So even if I can't remember what I'm talking about, I know I'm chatting from my soul. And so I don't need to worry about slipping up or saying anything silly. Like, that's all recorded and anyone can see me talk about that. And then it all the way relates back to my 100 subscriber video where I said my values, my biggest values are sticking up for people who are too scared to like talk about their favorite games, or like just like building a community and having a good time and being silly and not worrying about anything like that. I've always said that, and that's not changed. And I think that honesty is really valued in this world of, you know, robots, AI, robotic people. I think just that honesty and really knowing what you want to do and sticking at that is the reason why this channel has became what it has in just a year, and it will carry on to do so, hopefully.
Off that point, as you just discussed, being sort of social and communicating with your community is a really important aspect, I think, of any content creator nowadays, because your community is obviously what's going to make or break you. But then it's hard striking that balance between like being personal enough that your community can relate to you, and then being withdrawn enough that they don't get too attached and they don't form a parasocial relationship. Because obviously a lot of streamers and content creators nowadays, especially the bigger ones, they share a lot of aspects of their life with people. Like if you look at, say, Markiplier, for instance, obviously it does get to a point where they get so big it's hard not to, but like people know his full name, his birthday, where he was from, what his parents are called, and all of that. As a growing sort of newer content creator, how important do you think it is to maintain privacy at this point?
I think you should, anyone who goes straight into content creation, they need to straight away think about this. This is one of the first things they need to think about before anything. Because I think as well, when, like I said, if you're on a stream, for example, that you're talking for 4 hours, it could be very easy, especially when the emotions hit, all sorts of emotions within the chat. You're very engaged, like anything could be happening, you know. Sometimes I'm raging at the game because I'm not getting anywhere, and like, you know, it only takes one person to come in and ask you a very personal question, and you got to know how to, you've got to be very, very, very prepared. And I have noticed some content creators, they will say, I'm not telling anyone this because of this reason. And I'm like, well, great. And then a few streams later, they will tell you. And I think the reason why is they just either it was a mistake, or, you know, we all make mistakes, but you really, if there's one thing that you need to really practice before going, especially live, is not mentioning these things. My edited videos did really well for me because I remember the first videos that I ever made, I always cut a lot out of my videos anyway, but I started talking a lot about just my opinions and stuff that weren't, for example, to do with Simpsons Hit and Run, weren't to do with playing Bully. Like, it was just me just chatting because I was enjoying it. And I was like, actually, I don't need to put this in yet. I can save this sort of thing for a live stream. Or I don't need that at all. Maybe that's too much information. And it's really, really important to make sure that you, yeah, like you said, at some point, people are going to find out certain things. Hold it on for as long as possible, because one thing that the big creators do have is they have this as a career. So they have a backup that they can use. Whereas this isn't a career yet for me. It's a potential career. And I don't have that backup that I can have. So you've got to make, the only backup is yourself. You've got to make sure that you don't give out that information, because you're not just protecting yourself, you're protecting your roommates, your neighbors. You know, there's crazy people out there doing crazy things. You don't know, if it doesn't matter if you've got 1,000 subscribers, 10 subscribers. If they really like you hard enough, they're going to try and find out where you live and things like that. And it's a crazy world. And that's on the extreme side of things. There's obviously some people wouldn't even want to do that. You know, I always use this. I always say the Uncle Ben quote, with great power comes great responsibility. And it's so true. Like, sometimes the power isn't even about how many views or subscribers you have. It's just about keeping yourself safe and sane and happy and having that power. It's your channel. You decide what you want to do. You don't need to give that information out.
It's so funny that you mentioned the Uncle Ben quote, because as you were saying, like, you should keep anonymity to, like, make sure that, like, the people in your life, your family and your roommates, etc., are all protected from it too. It does sort of sound like being Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, there you go. It is. And I am a big fan of Spider-Man, so there you go. But that's what it feels like. And that is okay. It doesn't mean that you're pretending to be someone else. You've just got a different life outside of YouTube, and that's something that you've got to have, because if you didn't have that, then everyone on the internet would know where you live, and that's just not a concept that you want to work with.
On that note, you mentioned life outside of YouTube. Being a graphic designer, was there a lot that you could take from that, both in terms of like practical skills, but also mental skills and attitude that made being a content creator easier?
So maybe not with graphic design. With graphic design, there's a lot of things, you know, the biggest thing, I just think about thumbnails and things like that. But honestly, no, not really. I didn't have this job when I started YouTube. Funny thing was, I was working at a place called EE.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. EEBT for the people that know. But I was only there for some Christmas money, and I started thinking about YouTube, and I was planning it over Christmas, and I got my Christmas money, and it got to January and made the channel on the 5th of January. And I was planning it, and I was like, I'm not going to upload until I absolutely am sure. I even had a dummy account where I'd played Fortnite, and I put a video out there to see what happens if I'm on YouTube, because I was thinking about it for a long time. And long time, years. And I put this video out there, and it got 30 views, no reactions, no nothing. And over time, maybe over 2 months, 30 views. And I was like, well, that's nothing. That hasn't done anything for me. Because there was no reactions. But so I was thinking, when I actually put this out, I need to make sure that I do everything for it and make sure I have my branding, my name, everything's all prepared. I don't want to change anything. So I did all of that and eventually released my first video on the 28th of February. And that was really, really good. But something I will say, the confidence that I did have when I put my all into it, because like that dummy video, I didn't like have my camera. It wasn't PS2. I didn't have a niche. I was just playing Fortnite. I knew all of the things that I needed to do. And I put that time into it. And then speaking in front of a camera was fine for me as well. I don't think it's the graphic design that actually helped me. It's just my history, basically. You know, I did games design at university. I am an ex-teacher, so that comes in with speaking to people and the confidence there and not taking any negativity. It's honestly, I think I started my channel at this point because I was ready. Before, I was just not ready. I needed that life experience from everything else. And I've always done artistic stuff. I used to do media studies when I was at art school. So I used to do editing, but that was a long time ago. So, you know, had to catch up.
It is incredible actually then because I've known bits and pieces of that, but to have the full sort of story laid out, it really, like, YouTube really is a culmination or a map of your life and everything that you've done then up until this point.
Which is an amazing thing that you said that, because this time 2 years ago, I was definitely like, I've done all these things and it's not equating to progression, you know? I did animation for my first university, and then for my master's degree, I did games art, but it's still design, isn't it? And yeah, I just progressed. I've always been into art. I did games because of my childhood, like I mentioned, like it just, you know, my values and what I actually enjoy. And then on top of that, when I finished my university the first time, I traveled the world. I lived in China, and then I worked for the Walt Disney Company. And then 2 years ago, I had nothing. I did have things. I had family. I had friends. I had a home. You know, I wasn't homeless. It's okay. It wasn't. But after, you know, having such a life goal and achievement to work at the Walt Disney Company in production, and then coming back to the UK, and every single interviewer is like, oh, you're really good, you've got a great CV, but you're just not for us. And then the next one, you're just not for us, you don't fit the personality type. And I'm like, what is this personality type? And then I just thought, you know what, I keep applying for these games art jobs. Like, I have so much respect for the studios, even though there's not many in the UK, but they need to grow. And I thought they're not ready for what I want to offer. And then I thought, you know what, the only way I can, you know, you get so many rejections. I was like, you know what, the only way I'm going to carry all of this on is I have the confidence. I don't think that my personality is a stopper for anything. And I was like, maybe I need to do something where I can exploit the fact that I am confident and I can talk to people, but also talk about games and do it artistically. And that's when I was like, you know what, this is it now. I've always thought about YouTube. This is the time. So many things are not working right now. This is the time to do it. And it happened. I couldn't, yeah. And you know as well, in like the creative industry, we do get turned down a lot. Even I'm sure, like, even when you decided to be an editor and stuff, people even say to you, well, that's not a job, or no one can do that job. Like, oh no, it's got to be something like finance or whatever. Like, you know, it's got to be something that you're gonna find boring. And it's like, no, if you enjoy it, it's not a job. Like, everyone always has a lot of problems getting into the creative industry, even if it's just mentally. So yeah, it definitely has been struggles at times, but I just kept being like, I've got to find the next thing, and then yeah, this is where I am now.
It's funny you should say, oh, you should be like one of the examples of, oh, you should go into finance, because my dad's an accountant, or was an accountant, he's retired now. And bless him, he's been so supportive of me as of late, because something just sort of finally like clicked with him when he saw what I was doing. But for the longest time, it was like, you're not getting anywhere. Like, you should try looking into other avenues, because it's not a very conventional job, and it's more of like, it's always just been a hobby. So it is really hard to push through all that, but it's so worth it when you finally break through, as you've yourself done.
Oh, 100%. Like, it's such a big thing. And I think like when you choose to go in this sort of industry, it also replaces a lot of things that you might want in life anyway. Like for me, I never thought I need to, as soon as I finish university, I need to get married or something like that, because this idea of this ambition of having a job that pays me and I like, it was just so important. Obviously, I can't talk about that for YouTube right now because, I looked at my YouTube shorts the other day and I've earned 3p in the last month. But I'm not complaining about that, because I know everything will always go up, and that's not the reason why I'm doing it. But it's just amazing to obviously have that support from all the subscribers and the new viewers that come in, and also have a job outside of it. Is very good. It's definitely something that 2 years ago, if I told myself, look, you're going to be here, I would have been making the channel back then. But everything happens for a reason, doesn't it? And yeah, I'm sorry to hear that you obviously had that same aspect of, it's not going to work, get a real job. But I'm also not surprised, because it seems like we all hear it. We all have to hear it, and we all have to push through.
But the flip side is then, as you know yourself more than anyone, when you do this, you then meet incredible people, like you just said, all of your subscribers and supporters, who are the sort of the counter to that, who are constantly encouraging you and pushing you to new heights. And that, I think, is what is amazing about this, about being a creator.
Yeah, definitely. It's so good. It's like, it makes you want to come back every week. Definitely. I think there's a lot of discouragement when people don't have that support, and that's why I say, if you've got one subscriber, if you've got one viewer, if you've got one supporter, whatever they are, whatever their status is, give things back to them. Don't make them watch all your videos. Don't expect they're going to turn up to all your videos. Make sure you do things individually for them, because, you might be posting a video out to them and they might be thinking, actually, you're just doing it out to the world. It just so happens it's only coming to me. And just really like focus on appreciating the people who are there, and not worrying about, oh, what could happen next week? What will happen to the video this time? Just send out like the content to the people that enjoy it. And then the other ones, the new ones, will follow. And then, in months' time, they'll be in the same boat, hopefully. And you'll just be just as close to them.
I really like that example as well, of like, you're making content that some people might perceive as it goes out to the world and it just happens to see them. And then you want to try and like boost that connection with them, because as you said earlier, you used to be a teacher. And I think being a teacher is probably one of the best actual pipelines to go into content creation, because you get that same sensation of like, a teacher teaches a class and they teach the same class every day for years. And it is a generic lesson, but at the same time, teachers also tailor it to their students so that everyone does get individually something out of it.
Yeah, like I'm laughing because it's absolutely true, isn't it? Oh, firstly, being a teacher is a blessing and a curse. Well, an ex-teacher, and I'm very fortunate that I taught in China, so I can leave my students back there and they can't find me. And if they did, it would be remarkable. It would absolutely, especially seeing as YouTube is actually banned in China. So, it wouldn't have even been an option for me to be a YouTuber back then, because Google's banned. There you go.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You could have been a Billy streamer, I believe. But...
Oh, yeah, maybe. But yeah, I think I would have found it too much hassle that I just wouldn't have done it. So it's a blessing and a curse. Like, for me, it worked really well because I can leave all my students there and they won't find me. Whereas in this country, if you're a teacher, you're not allowed to be a streamer, because you're wrecking the presence of that school. So that's a whole thing. So I'm really glad I'm not a teacher anymore, because I wouldn't be able to do this. So it is kind of like everything fell into place nicely. If I wasn't a teacher, I wouldn't have earned the money to get my wonderful, amazing computer and come back with that. Yeah, without the fear of trolls, without the fear of the negativity, and with the inspiration to just carry on through no matter what. I think as well, like what you said about going into a room where you have the same thing each week but tailored. I think that's massive in the content creation game as well, because I know a lot of people talk about consistency is key, but it's true. If some of your subscribers, you know, if they're showing up every week, if you're going to change everything every single week, they're not going to like that. Like, I think of like an example, like people are still watching Friends. People are still watching The Simpsons. Imagine if their apartments and houses just suddenly changed, or a character was just missing. Like, people would absolutely rage. I honestly think that people just come to my stream just to see the same me sitting in the dark until 2 a.m. crying about the game with my blue lights. I think that there's some kind of comfort in it. And then obviously knowing that they'll see the same people and don't know what to expect in terms of the, like, new things. Like, I do think that consistency is really important. And obviously being a teacher, that was something that we had to do.
It is fascinating you say that, because especially I think earlier YouTube, that was exactly the trick. Like, I used to be I still kind of am, but I used to be a massive fan of a group called the Yogscast, and they did like daily uploads of Minecraft here, there, and everywhere. And looking back at it now, it's not very good.
Oh.
I mean, there's some charm to it, and the individuals themselves are great, but the content was pretty naff and boring, especially by today's standards. I mean, back then it was pretty good overall, but there wasn't that much to it. But I think there was just this sense of, like, because it was daily, you could tune in coming home after high school or whenever, and you would have that daily comfort of just sitting down and listening to two friends play Minecraft.
Yeah, I see that. Like, there's definitely, I mean, I've been watching YouTube for as long as I've had Wi-Fi. No, not even Wi-Fi. the internet cable. Oh my gosh, when that would even work. So that was like 2008. Wow. Times. But yeah, I've been watching YouTube, and I used to just watch people unboxing PS3s and stuff, and I don't know why I had a PS3. It wasn't because I wasn't envious. I had my own sitting right there. But I used to just watch loads of different people just continuously sit on their floor carpet and just unboxing PS3s. I'm like, oh, here's another one. And I don't know what it was. I think it was just the comfort. I don't know. But yeah, that they were definitely, like, there was no quality to that, especially seeing as YouTube's now turning into more of a TV streaming channel, which is crazy to think about too.
I guess, yeah, it really is a comfort, I guess, to a lot of people, isn't it? So with that, I will bring it to an end. But before we finish, is there anywhere that the lovely people can find you?
Yeah, so just search PlayStation Pantheress on YouTube and I will come straight up. You will see me with my little face or my Panther logo, and just go ahead, check out some content if you like PS2, if you like nostalgia, if you like edited videos, if you like live streams, if you like good old opinions, if you like just to have a natter, like our mods always want to have a chat and very friendly. So yeah, just come on over, and all you got to do is search up on YouTube, and there I am.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sitting down and chatting with me tonight. I am stumbling over my words.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been really good.
And yeah, with that, we will see everyone in the next one. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode of The Nerd Portal. Don't forget to subscribe to or follow the podcast on your platform of choice if you enjoyed, and keep an eye out next week for a new episode.